Good afternoon. It's 3 o'clock. I call the meeting of the Board of Commissioners to order. First item is Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Today the invocation is offered by Commissioner Kraft.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Please bow your heads. We meet to serve our community, to use our resources wisely and well, to represent all members of our community fairly, to make decisions that promote the common good. We recognize our responsibility to the past and the future, and the rights and needs of both individuals and community. As trusted servants, we seek blessings on our deliberations and on our efforts here today. May we act wisely and well. Amen.
Amen. Item 4 is adoption of the agenda. May I have a motion
Romano
to
adopts the agenda.
Support by Nard.
Any discussion on the adoption of the agenda? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 11-0.
Item 5 is approval of the minutes dated January 26, 2023. Need a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved by Nard.
Support Van Sickle.
Any discussion on the minutes? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 11-0.
Thank you. Item 6 is public participation. This is the first opportunity for the public to have those who wish to speak in any item on the agenda for a maximum of 3 minutes. Following this, there'll be a second opportunity at the end of the agenda to speak in any item you wish, whether it's on the agenda or not. Is there anyone from the public here today that wishes to be heard on speaking any item on the agenda? Please step forward and state your name. You have 3 minutes, sir.
Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Sam Woodard. I live at 22405 Glenwood Street, Clinton Township, Michigan. I noted on your agenda 7A and 7B, and also 11A and B that I'd like to address. First of all, I know that as a commission, you're very concerned about our community and the welfare of our community, the welfare of the citizens. And so in looking at the Children and Family Services and positive emotional development, I come to bring before you a situation at the Chippewa Valley Schools and Library for the middle school and Dakota, in which there are salacious materials that are really beyond your realm of wanting to hear. But I'm going to let you have an idea. For 9th graders, this is written, and it's the title of it is Push, P-U-S-H. Daddy pulls his D-I-C-K out of his 7-year-old daughter, and the white cum stuff pours out my H-O-L-E and wets the sheets. My daddy stinks. White, S-H-I-T, drips off his D-I-C-K. Now that's a book that's available to our students. That is one of about 120 that we found that is salacious. It's not only dealing with sexual material, it's also dealing with promotion of drugs, and that's why I mentioned those particular items on the agenda. We don't want children exposed to materials that promote drugs, and that's exactly what many of these books do. Now, we talked Monday to the school board, and the school board listened to what we had to say, but they said, well, we've got a board that takes care of that. Well, obviously, they have not taken care of that. They've not examined clearly what the moral standards of our community are. That is not the moral standards of Clinton Township. Is it? I don't think so. Would any of you read those books to your children or grandchildren? No. It is just unconscionable that mature individuals would allow books like that. This is not about book burning. This is about keeping our children safe from materials that could corrupt their little minds. They're not capable yet of understanding.
You have 1 minute, sir.
Yes, thank you. Someone at that meeting at the school board said, well, you know, if someone has had one of these sexual encounters with a dad or somebody else, you know, reading this kind of thing will help them. A psychologist got up and said, that is hogwash. It will absolutely bring back to them the horrors of what they've experienced. I've been talking to a lady just today, and she's gone through this kind of thing, and her mind is blown. What? She's 57, and she still can't take care of herself because of the remembrance of what her daddy did to her at 13 years of age, which she only was able to bring up 3 days ago. I ask that you as a commission do something, whatever is in your power to do, to bring pressure on the school board to help them to come to an understanding. These kind of books have to be removed. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wish to be heard? Step forward and state your name for the record.
Good afternoon. My name is Dennis Gale. I'm at 35760 Willis Court, Clinton Township. The year was 1972 at the Guild Theater in Detroit, and two boys would repeatedly enter through the back door to watch these hardcore triple X-rated films, commonly known as smokers. And the impression that it gave to these fellows was mind-boggling and remained in, at least in this one person's mind, for many years to come. It locks in, it's habitual. Think of any habit that runs deep, of which someone is taxed in, and it's a controlling factor and will influence young people from the time it starts until they find peace in some manner or form. This one particular fella found freedom through the gospel of Jesus Christ. If it wasn't for that, he probably would have ended up, God knows where, in the gutter somewhere. And that person is me. I found relief as a result. As a 15-year-old, we were just inquisitive, me and another fella, and we would sneak in through the back door at the Guild Theater on the east side on Gratiot in Detroit. And I would urge, building on top of what Sam said, is that habits run deep. And if these things get a hold of these kids, we did it illegally. Now kids can go into the library and be encouraged to take what they think is a First Amendment right to educate themselves on something that's absolutely perverse, and it has been from the beginning of time, and absolutely self-destructive. And if we think that we have an unsettled community now, it's only a matter of time if this snowball grows, and we're really going to have trouble. Dr. Benjamin Rush, one of the three top founders, known as the father of public education, said, apart from virtue, chaos will be promoted. And that's exactly what's happening these days. And I'm suggesting, if you think things are bad now, you haven't seen anything yet. So I would urge all of you to do your job and use the moral compass to protect our children. And I'm sure in your case, you're personally concerned for your kids and grandkids.
You have 30
and
seconds.
Great kids, without a question. And so I pray and encourage you deeply to consider long and hard what can be done in order to save our children. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to be heard? Please come forward, and you can, again, state your name for the record. You have 33 minutes.
My name is Marlene. I'm a Clinton Township delegate, and I was also at the board meeting, and there was over 100 people there. We've been trying to get these books out of the library since August. There's processes, there's this and that, but I know that the authority can come from the superintendent just to take them out and review them at that time. Those books are in the kindergarten, from elementary school to high school. I know Rochester, they were stating that Rochester were able to pull those books immediately out, but we can't. I don't know what the problem is in our district. We have major problems. Like I said, we've been going through since August. There were professionals there saying, nurses and doctors and social workers that were there saying how these are detrimental to our kids. They should not be in our school systems, period. There was a grandmother that broke my heart because I'm a grandmother and I have grandkids in this school, and I don't want them to be involved in pornographic material freely. You know, I'm just so upset, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anyone else wish to be heard?
My name is Bill Pacey. I live at 29185 27 Mile, Lenox, Michigan. I thank you for allowing me to speak. I also, I am a retired mental health clinician, so I understand what I'm about to talk to you about. I'm also a product of sexual abuse. They want to tell you about get it out of our system. I'm here to talk to you about, if you're looking at budget issues, you know that this issue is going to create more problems for you financially. It's something that's got to be dealt with, and I hope that somehow you will talk to the sheriff. We know that the sheriff has the authority in this county to stop this. There are laws on the books that will allow the sheriff to speak against this problem. So I would encourage you to challenge the sheriff to do his job. He has the ability, he has the authority. You understand that, and just, it needs to stop. If you don't really know the depths of the consequence, if you are sitting on this board and you really don't understand the depths of the problem associated with pornography and children, please, I will be more than happy to give you my card. I will be more than happy to talk to you about it privately, but I think most of us are educated enough that this is not going to be beneficial for this country, this state, or for this county. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you. Anyone else under public participation wish to be heard?
All those meetings, the board meetings are on the school website, Chippewa Valley website, so you guys can review all the stuff that's in there.
Anyone else wish to be heard under public participation? Anyone else wish to be heard? Seeing no one, we'll close public participation. There is a member of the public that's here with Commissioner Lucido. If you want to make an introduction, it's my oversight earlier.
Yeah, I'll introduce, this is my son, Sam Lucido. He's home this week because of the incident at Michigan State, but he at least was able to come today and meet everyone, so.
Very good. Welcome. All right. Item number 7 is the Health and Human Services Committee recommendations. I'd like a motion to approve items 7A through F.
Motion by Romano to approve.
Support Perna.
Any discussion on these items? Seeing none, please vote.
Chair, would you explain again to the audience that we have,
Oh, yes. Yeah, all these items on our agenda have been discussed previously at the board and debated, and this is a final move to approve them. It's the last reading of it. Thank you, Commissioner Romano, for the reminder.
Motion passes 12-0.
Thank you. Item 8, Government Oversight Committee recommendations. I need a motion to approve item A, the budget amendment for,
Motion to approve.
Support Lucido.
any discussion on that item? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 12-0.
Okay, thank you. Item 9, Internal Service Committee recommendations. These are, I need a motion for 9A and A through C. Can I have a motion?
Support.
Any discussion on those items? Please vote.
Chair,
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. There you go.
So I did
I can wait
have
till
one,
Commissioner comments.
I did have one quick other just concern.
Okay, Commissioner Lucido.
Yes, thank you, Chair. So I'm new to the commission, so on how things are done. But I was wondering if it's typical for us to receive items that haven't gone out to bid yet. I guess that was my concern, because with like some of the boathouse updates, when it comes to the lifts and the water suppression system, there was no bids included. Like, how do they figure how much they need for the budget amendment without us going out to formal bid? I guess that was my question. I don't know if anyone would have the answer to that.
The bids, we have a process and they're required to go out for bids. So there's a process that they're required to do that.
Oh, But that's not this item? Okay.
These items went out, but these
Okay.
contracts were bid out and were brought forward through the process.
All right.
I think the project you're talking about is a little bit more further down the
Yeah,
agenda.
it's the next item, so,
Okay,
Yeah.
very good. Commissioner Zinner.
Thank you, Chair. A couple of facts I found out. I spoke with the lieutenant. I might be
Well, before you
proceeding here.
continue, this is on,
Okay.
these are on the three contracts from IT.
Are we
They're
on
on nine
IT?
A, B, and C.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not
was my
there.
mistake.
Thank you, I'll pull off. I pulled off. Thank you for pulling me off.
No problem.
I thought we were,
Any discussion on these three items? Don't see any, please vote.
Motion passes 12-0.
Okay, thank you.
Chair, items 9, D, E, and F, I'd like to make a motion to refer these back to the March 7th Internal Services Committee meeting. If I have support on that, I'll speak further.
There's support for that? Support, okay, please go ahead.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Sabatini.
You know, looking at these items, first and foremost, I support the Boathouse. I've supported the Boathouse initially since the contract was brought to us, and I did support these in committee to move them forward. My issues with these three items is that these are estimates. These are not true actual bids that have been bid out and brought to us as a true amendment to the contract that we have approved previously. My concern with this is that these numbers could change. We obviously were in committee yesterday. We had a contract that changed by nearly $2 million due to services that were added and a timing issue there. But specifically, those obviously were that was an amendment to the contract. These three items, which obviously one was changed due to unforeseen items relative to the fire suppression system and things were beyond the contractor's wherewithal with that. But I think with these three items, what should happen, in just a matter of procedure with this board, is that if we're going to amend a contract, that amendment should be done via an actual amendment to that contract. So that bid should go out, or that should be bid out through that contractor that we awarded that contract with initially. They should bring that amendment back to this board, whether that number is $865,700 or $1 million, whatever that number is. We know what that true cost is, rather than shooting in the dark with these estimates, not knowing if they're going to exceed these estimates or going to be below these estimates. And I think it's just our priority as a board to make sure we're doing our due diligence when we approve these contracts and any amendments to these contracts. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Zinner.
thank you, Chair. I agree with Commissioner Sabatini. If we're really not sure about this money system, I did speak with the lieutenant again, and he thought he had bids on the hoist. So if he sent them and they weren't legitimate bids, but something different, then I understand and we need to have that. That's good. I did speak with the fire marshal, because there were commissioners, and I wondered too why it was a later decision. And he told me that because it's on state property, it is a state, the state is overseeing this. The state isn't dealing with him at all. For instance, the second he saw the plans, he said, this isn't going to work, because he knows what the water situation. He said, if they would have brought these to me in the very beginning, I would have told them the same thing, and they could have planned for it with the boathouse and the whole thing. He said, I would have told them right away, as I am telling them now. But they didn't come to me, and he said I'm not saying he said that, but people say that that's often what happens when you deal with the state. Now, how the state and the county are working with this, I really have no idea. And, but I wanted people to know that was the situation with that water situation, because they said, where was the fire marshal? Well, he didn't get called in until late. So that's very, he knows what he's doing. So he's not going to change his mind, because it was a wise choice for the situation that presented itself. And again, Commissioner Sabatini explained to me about Plant Moran, I don't remember the other name that goes with there, is supposed to be overseeing this also. And what are they doing? What are they doing if they're not overseeing this? And I don't know who has the push for go or not, but it seems that, what are they doing if this stuff is happening and they're not, what are they overseeing? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. This thing that you were referring to was the water pressure, is that right?
Right,
Yes.
right. That's
The
what
low
he's calling
water
it.
pressure on that end of the line.
Right, and it's just, people said, well, why didn't he look at it earlier? Because he said the state they didn't give it to me earlier. They gave it to me late, and that's why that situation.
Thank you for the
presented
information,
itself.
Commissioner. Commissioner Lucido.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Sorry about that earlier. Anyways,
worries.
yeah, so that was my concern too, is like, we didn't have like an actual accurate, like, bid from a company. And I know that's, I mean, it should typically be the way we go about doing things, because we're making a large amendments to our budget. These aren't small items. And I think it just needs to be reflected exactly why and, you know, what their cost is, not an estimate. My other concern is too, and I appreciate Ms. Sinner bringing this up. You know, there was some confusion on some of these items when we discussed it before, and I'm still confused on, like, the fire compression system, I understand might have changed, but with some of the items, why they weren't included in the original design. I feel like we hire engineers for that purpose, and so we don't have these things like this coming back to us at a later date.
Thank you, Commissioner. Are you done?
Yeah, that's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Nard.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I noticed that they did say that it wouldn't increase, it was no less than, it was that amount or less. And then they explained that the young man that's on there now wasn't a part of the original plan, so that's why a lot of that got missed. He's someone different, he's a new guy. So he noticed that this is what was needed. And that's why they came back. But when I looked at that, it said no, not more than 860. So it won't go over that. It'll be that or less, is what I noticed. You know, I could be wrong, but I thought that when we asked him that, he explained very well that it was going to be that amount or less. And that, and they, I feel, explained very, very good that how important this was for the safety of the people that's going to be staying in that boathouse, and how much money it would save us as far as the boat deteriorating and things like that, with it being in water. So I thought, I didn't see anything wrong with it, but I thought they explained themselves very well. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner, and that's true, and they did an explanation, and we understood the reasoning why they did it, and the board supported that view. But we needed something in writing, because it was embarrassing that, you know, that they came back with this additional amendment. You know, things happen, so they changed their mind, so that's fine, but I don't want to have us repeat that again later on when we approve this, and then perhaps they need to come back for more money, then it's a story about the thing is still spiraling out of control over the estimates. I think if we take the wise course is probably to push this back to the committee, get the information back from the department, make sure we got bids. Maybe they do have a bid, but we don't see it. We haven't seen it in writing. I don't believe we've seen it in writing in the backup material, and so I'll support sending this back to committee as well. Commissioner Sabatini on the second round. Sabatini, right?
Commissioner Lucido's ahead of me, Chair. She can.
Did you on the first round? Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, second round, sorry.
Okay.
Thank you. So just really quick, so I guess part of my concern with, I understand where Commissioner Nard's coming from, and I do think these are necessary items. My concern is like, let's say for the fire compression system, if it only costs $600,000 instead of $800,000, where is the other $200,000 going? I guess that would be my question, and that's why having a bid, then we know accurately what the cost is and how much money, and that they actually need to be put in their budget. We're not putting more than they actually need.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Sabatini.
Thank you, Chair. I support what Commissioner Lucido just said, because that's one of the points that I had written down here as well. Also in regards to the lieutenant, you know, first of all, I was thankful that the lieutenant made the suggestion to put in the hoist, because I think this is the time to do it if we're going to make changes. Obviously, once it's built, then to go back and trying to put hoist in would not be a smart play, obviously. But my thought is send this back to committee, let F&O get this bid out so that that bid is brought to us on the March 7th committee, so it can then move forward to, and then get hopefully approved in next month's full board. That's my intention here, not to delay the process in any way, shape, or form, but to get a hard number as to what the contract amendment is and to move it forward in the proper manner. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak on this item? I don't see any speakers, so please vote.
So we're voting to,
We're going to vote to refer this back to committee.
okay.
Motion passes 11 to 0 to, I'm sorry, 11 to 0 to 1. Commissioner Grote abstaining.
Going to, back to where it came, Internal Services Committee. All right, thank you. Item 10 is Finance, Audit, and Budget Committee recommendations. Item waived by Public Services Committee Chair. Budget amendment for Planning and Economic Development Grant Fund 361, Early Childhood Investment Corporation, Regional Child Care Planning Grant, $150,000. I need a motion to approve.
So moved by Romano to approve.
Support Van Sickle.
Any discussion on this item? Seeing none, please vote.
Commissioner Perna, your vote didn't come through. I'm sorry.
Come through now?
Yes, motion passes 12 to 0.
Thank you. Item 11, Records and Public Safety Committee recommendations. I'd like a motion to approve items 11A through H.
Move by,
All right, item H will be separated.
I'll move to approve A through G.
Any discussion on any of those items? Please vote.
Motion passes 12 to 0.
Okay, thank you. Item 11H, contract with Hunch Free. Need a motion to approve.
Motion, Chair.
Thank you.
Support.
Discussion? Any discussion?
No,
Just want to,
I am just going to vote no, but I want to review the items that I requested yesterday.
yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. All right, any other discussion? Please vote.
Motion passes 11 to 1. Commissioner Wallace voting no.
I thank you. Item 12, resolutions. Need a motion to approve.
Motion by Romano to approve.
Any discussion on the deposit resolutions? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 12 to 0.
Item 13, correspondence. We have items 13A through C. Can I have a motion to receive and file?
So moved by Nard.
Support Van Sickle.
Any discussion on any of these items? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 12 to 0.
All right, thank you. Item 14 is a board office update. This is something that's going to be on the agenda going forward, on the full board agenda. Just an update from staff and myself on activities in the prior month as relevant. And we'll start with Crystal. Before, I need a motion to receive and file.
So moved by Nard.
Support.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so I think everyone knows we posted our communications coordinator position, and that will be open through March 3rd. Our AV equipment is fully installed and programmed now, so the programming does take a few weeks of going through meetings to see what's working, what's not, and Luke will be working with them to tweak those types of things. They are coming next week to train staff on the whole system now that it's fully implemented. Laura and I have been touring venues for this year's Tri-County Summit. So Wayne County is hosting this year, so we've been looking at locations mostly in Detroit. We have a few tentative dates, so we're hoping to secure that location and date soon, so I'll get that out to you once we do, so you can get that on your schedules for this year. We're targeting September or October, so we can avoid our budget season. And Kyle has been working on scheduling tours of the county facilities, so watch for emails and invites from him if you guys want to participate in those. He has been working on scheduling those. And Mary has been working on the guidebook, so we will have a new guidebook printed this year. She's almost done with those, and we send that off to Hunchfree for some publishing, to polish it up and make it look fancy, and then we will be bidding that out. So that is, we don't pay over $35,000 for that item, but we do bid it out. So you'll probably see it on the list of bids that Kyle attaches to the Finance Committee agenda each month, hopefully next month when he does that. Adriana has been working with Commissioner Zinner, who is now our Older Adult Advisory Committee Chair, planning their first meeting, which will be on Tuesday, the 28th at 3 p.m. If any of the commissioners wanted to attend, you will be appointing your representatives at the end of this year. So if you want to watch that schedule and attend a few of those meetings, the new commissioners might not know who their current representative is, so then they could meet them and get to know them and keep that in mind for the end of the year. And our Student Government Day has been rescheduled to the March full board meeting date. So we'll keep the schedule as we had planned in January, and there'll be that half-hour break between the meeting, our event, and then the meeting that day. Please let us know if you are able to attend and participate in the same way we had originally planned for you in January. Me and Laura will be reaching out to you too individually to confirm that, but please take a look and see if you'll be able to still attend and participate, or if you weren't able to then and you'll be attending, let us know and we'll try to work everybody in. And just a couple reminders, I think Mary has heard back from most of you, but she can schedule for you to read at a school in your district for March's Reading Month. So let her know if you would like her to help schedule something for that. You will be appointing members to the CMH board in March. So those applications are due on March 1st, and you'll be interviewing those at Government Oversight next month and appointing those at full board. And then the volunteer nominees are due on March 10th. So if you had anyone you wanted to nominate, or you know of any organizations that might want to nominate one of their volunteers, be sure to let them know. That information is right on our website. It's one of the sliders on the main page. They can just click that to get the information on how to nominate them. And just a final thing, although we're not a big staff, we are always here to assist you in any way possible. So, I mean, if anyone needs information or has trouble finding something or has a question about our process, please reach out to any of us. I mean, you can text, email, call, stop at my office on your way into the meeting. We're always here to help you. Please reach out to us. We have a lot of information and we're happy to share it. That's what we're here for. Yes.
Thank you.
The Student Government Day is March what?
16th, the full board day, March 16th.
And the volunteer, I'm sorry, yeah, thank you. And the volunteer reception or whatever we're doing with the volunteer, when is that? Do we know when that is?
Yes, it's at the end of April. It's the last Thursday. I want to say it's the 28th.
27th.
27th, okay, thanks.
Very good.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Crystal?
Good job.
There's a lot happening on the staff, and we're going to do this on a monthly basis just to keep everybody informed of what's happening behind the scenes and remind you as well as offer any information to you. So meetings that I've been attending this past month at the State of the Bay up with Commissioner Kraft and the other community leaders up there. It was a good meeting. Also, the Aerospace and Defense Delegation meeting, that was we had state as well as federal legislators talking about the defense industry in Macomb County, how we can advocate better for Macomb County, particularly the state, when it comes to funding the Defense Center, which was formerly funded in Macomb County. This funding in the state had suspended temporarily. We're hoping to get it put back in place by the state and have it funded and keep that office open in Macomb County that promotes the defense and aerospace industry in our county and across the state. Had a meeting with broadband contact Jason Dixon, and it's one of the people that's offered to help the county expand and try to fill the gaps in internet and high-speed internet across the county. The county's embarked, our planning department's embarked on a study looking over the entire county and finding gaps where service is lacking or maybe not even existent at all. And he was one of the people that are be able to help support that mission once we identify where some of those holes are. I had a meeting with Congressman McLean's district director, and just established a relationship and rapport and communication from our office, from the county on our behalf. Had a meeting with families with narcotics with Commissioner Kraft and Commissioner Hall. That was a good meeting talking. They gave us an overview of what they were doing behind the scenes in terms of supporting the opioid and epidemic and things that they're working towards. Had a monthly meeting with the Chamber of Commerce, Aerospace and Defense Committee. The Macomb Chamber has a work group that's designed to support the aerospace and defense industry in the county, lobbying on our behalf for issues that are important, such as Selfridge and the defense installations down in Warren and all the other supporting industries. And they meet monthly, and I'm on a committee that had been on there even since for probably 3 years, and they are doing good work. Also attended a meeting with the Fraser Honor Guard, supported with Commissioner Hall earlier in the month. Had an intermediate trust board, which I serve as chairman of. It's one of the 3 subcommittees on of the pension fund that helps fund our retiree medical, and that's performing very well. Had a bi-weekly meeting with Mark Delvin, Deputy Chief of Staff here for the county executive, and we do that on a fairly regular basis to keep touch with issues that are going on and make sure that we all understand each other as best we can. Then I just recently attended the NACO conference in Washington. I'm on a committee that's Environment, Energy, and Land Use Committee, which deals a lot with water issues. And being in that committee helped keep me apprised of grant funding opportunities to bring money back to the county for environmental issues that we all care about here in the county, and be alert of policy issues that affect us all. And so that was very good. And unfortunately, my trip got cut short. I went there my meeting was Saturday. I left Sunday afternoon. My father suffered a stroke on Sunday morning, so I had to leave suddenly and return back. So the trip was cut short. But I did attend the meeting on Saturday rather, and had a good conversation with the EPA undersecretary that deals with water quality. And one of the questions that I raised was the standards that the EPA sets for the state to follow that allows combined sewer overflows into the lake. You all have heard the advantage, permit to pollute. Well, the state relies on federal regulations that give communities the right to discharge pollution into the lake at a certain level. And I said, well, those rates are pretty high because we still got billions of gallons of sewage going in, and we need pressure from the federal government for the locals to act to try to correct the problems that still exist with combined sewer overflows in our urban areas, such as Macomb, Oakland, and Wayne County, which is consistent with what we're talking with the 3 counties on our Tri-County Summit. As some of you may have heard, we're advocating, all 3 of us are advocating for the same types of things, more grant dollars for infrastructure coming in our area, and more help with the regulations so that we can combat issues that we all share, whether it's flooding because of inadequate infrastructure or combined sewer overflows because sewers aren't separated, and all these things that the 3 of us are working towards. And though I had to leave shortly, Alicia Bell and Chair Woodward are also working. I know Commissioner Wallace was out there. So we're trying to get a unified message on these issues nationally, and so we're trying to, it's part of the process. And so, but unfortunately, I had to cut that short. Had the opportunity to go, did you see President Biden? I was invited to attend a meeting with the president who happened to speak at the session on Tuesday, and it was an honor to be asked. Wasn't able to participate, but I did see him on television speaking about other issues with the NACO placard in the background. So, it's been a busy month, but we want to give you these updates though from Crystal's standpoint, from the staff issues and what I do, just so to keep you appraised of what's going on your behalf. Okay?
Chair, if I may?
Yes, Commissioner Romano.
Thank you. I think some of the commissioners have taken advantage of this, and those who have not. Our Prosecutor Lucido, is doing what he calls the scams presentations for the seniors. And he'd like to have, would really like to have, a commissioner present when he does this in their district. Now, he's done one for me in Sterling Heights, he's doing another one for me in Sterling Heights, but he'll go to any one of your districts, any one of your senior homes, and make his presentation, and he'd like to have you there when he makes the presentation. So if you'd like to see that, all you have to do is contact his office, and he'll be more than happy to set up a program for you. Just an afterthought. The other thing is, I just want to give a plug or a courtesy plug to our staff. And I think each one of our staff can say about me, when I do call, my first question to the staff when they answer the phone is this a good time or a bad time? Because they've got 13 of us that they're answering to. I don't know what they're doing. And I've yet to hear it, well, no, this is a bad time. But I think the courtesy would be, is this a good time or a bad time? So that in case they have something going to, they can continue and get back to us. And that's all I have. Thank you, Chair. They do a good job, too.
Thank you, Commissioner Arnold. They sure do. We appreciate all the work that they do on our behalf. We'll transition to commissioner comments. Any other commissioners, and then they want to
We
speak?
have public participation, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, public participation, I'm sorry. Anyone from the public wish to be heard? You have another opportunity to speak on any item you wish for 3 minutes.
Chair, I think we have to vote because you have a motion on the floor.
Oh, yeah, please, we need the motion to receive and file. It's already been made. Please vote. Thank you, Commissioner Sabatini.
Motion passes 12-0.
Very good. Thank you.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
my name
Yeah,
is
3
Sam
more
Woodard
minutes.
again, 22405 Glenwood Street, Clinton Township, Michigan. I wanted to ask you, when was the first time you remembered memorizing the, not national anthem, but our Pledge of Allegiance? Can you remember back from the first time you remember?
Sir, we don't allow to speak back and forth from the board, so you can ask us, but
Well, that's,
We
I
don't
guess, a
respond.
rhetorical, you're thinking about it anyway.
yeah.
And we know that our country is very important. And what I was going to read to you right now, if it's okay for just a few moments, is some interesting information that I had picked up. It's from the book called Naked Communist. Some of you may have read it, 1958. It was written by Cleon Cousin. It was 1958, and he detailed what the Communist Party had written down as their goals to achieve. And I'm not going to read all of them, of course, but number 17 was get control of the schools, use them as transmission belts for socialism and current communist propaganda, soften the curriculum, get control of teachers' associations, and put the party line in textbooks. I'm not making this up. This was their goal and is their goal. Number 24, 25, break down cultural standards of morality by promoting pornography, obscenity in books, magazines, motion pictures, radio, and TV. As you well know, Walt Disney would turn over in his grave, if that was possible, to see what's happened to the wholesome family situation that Disney used to be. 27, infiltrate churches and replace revealed religion with social religion, discredit the Bible, emphasize the need for intellectual maturity, which does not need a religious crutch.
You have 1 minute.
Okay, thank you. Discredit the American Constitution by calling it inadequate. Well, part of what I discussed earlier with Chippewa Valley Schools is doing that very thing. It is lowering the standards for our children. It is saying it's okay to play around. It's okay to smoke marijuana. It's okay to take drugs. It's okay if your daddy wants to do something with you or your whatever. You know, I read some of the books. My goodness, you won't believe it, but it is true. And so our sheriff has the power to arrest those who promote pornography. This is pornography. Our prosecutor has the power to bring them to court. Will he do it? No, he hasn't. And neither the sheriff nor the prosecutor have taken this in hand to be able to deal with it. And I think all of us as citizens want our children to be free from this kind of negative influence in their lives. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wish to be heard under public comment? Anyone else wish to be heard under public comment?
So just pick, William Pacey, 29185 27 Mile Road, just to pick up on what he just said. I want you to know that a group of us from an organization called We the County have met with your sheriff. We've also met with the prosecutor. We have talked to them. We've explained them, not because we don't think they know, but so that they know that we know that the sheriff has the authority in this county to do exactly what this gentleman said. So what I'm asking is for just a couple of you. Okay, this is not a political thing. This is a moral issue. Would you mind going to the prosecutor and going to the sheriff and saying, hey, this is your responsibility. The law is on our side. We just need your help. I understand you're responsible for the county. The school board issues are probably not your concern. I respect that. But you have the ability to talk to the prosecutor. You have the ability to talk to the sheriff. And so I would just encourage you, please, for our kids' sake, for our future of America's sake, please call them. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to be heard under public participation? Please come forward. You've got 3 minutes.
Good afternoon, Board. My name is Fred Neenstead, Clinton Township. Recently, I became aware that there will be school elections May 2nd, and that the Secretary of State has not really moved forward with any rules according to how the elections will be processed. Prop 2 passed. So I'm wondering if the board is interested in what the election processes will be, what changes there will be, and perhaps you can do some sort of questioning, investigation, and make some sort of public comment on what the Secretary of State should be doing or what our county clerk should be doing to facilitate elections after Proposal 2 has passed. I appreciate your response when it's appropriate. Thank you very much, Board.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to be heard? Anyone else wish to be heard? Seeing no one, will close public participation. Item 16 is Commissioner comments. Commissioner Wallace.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to also say, like, our staff has been doing continuously, does a great job. I really enjoyed the monthly update shared by you and Crystal. Great information. I was at the NACO conference. I feel like it was information overload. There was just so many great breakout sessions. But of course, I attended mostly the mental health ones, so I would take the opportunity to sit down with Phil and Dave and just discuss what I learned there that we can possibly bring back to our county. And then also, I wanted to update you on during budget, I brought up the option to our clerk to maybe bring back co-op. High school kids working because he wanted internships, and that will be moving forward in the fall. He has partnered with Mount Clemens. I'm sure you guys are surprised I'm saying that. But they will bring in 2 students to work as interns for him, probably one in the morning and one in the afternoon, just to do some work there. So I think that's a great opportunity to, have that chance to work for the county as a student and possibly continue that journey throughout the county, just to open their eyes and see what, one of the departments does. So I think that, it's just a great opportunity, and I would love to I've mentioned before to the sheriff that I would love to partner with him and get some kids in there. I know they've tried and gotten zero response. I am pretty diligent in that area, so I will reach out to him again to see how I can help in any other department. I think this is just a wonderful opportunity for our students to just work with our county and see how we move. But that is it, of course. Saturday, I'm not going to repeat myself, but I will tell you about next Saturday, which is the gala. Fancy if you feel like dressing up and eating dinner. The gala is an option. I have a table. I think I have 4 seats left, so if anyone wants to attend, just let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Zinner.
Thank you, Chair. In regard to what the citizens have been talking about, I spoke with one of my friends who now lives in Colorado. After her husband died, she moved there to be with her daughter, the son-in-law, and the granddaughter. And she told me that the granddaughter, when she picked her up from school, or whenever they were talking, I don't know when they were talking, she said the teacher read them a story, the class the story. And I said, oh, she said, Barb, you don't know what she read her. And I said, okay. And I don't remember the name of the story. I don't know the whole story. All I know is children were doing something very untoward toward a child, and that she was encouraging the children to laugh at that. I mean, the book was, and she read that. And then something else went on with that child, and these children were laughing at that too. This is what the wording of the story was, and the teacher was reading this. You would never see that years ago. You should be seeing it now. But I don't know if that, I'd like to think that's not happening in Michigan. I'd like to think that's not happening in Macomb County. I haven't heard of that. But a teacher actually, I'm not going to tell you what she said. It was gruesome. I was ill after I heard the story. But I mean, that kind of thing makes you really wonder, what is society in our country, in our state, in our county, changing? It's changing, and how that affects our children. So I think we really have to see if there's a way we can do everything we can to protect our children. I keep saying, how are we putting our children first? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. Is there anybody else? Following our comments yesterday regarding the hunch-free contract and the suggestions that were made, we had a follow-up meeting with them this afternoon. I forgot to mention that. And so we're working to get information for Commissioner Wallace and the other information to try to sharpen the sword, if you will, and make improvements on what we're doing. So thank you for that conversation yesterday, and we took action today to move forward on that. So stand by for information. All right. Now, a somber moment. We need to have a moment of silence for what happened in MSU the other day. It was a terrible tragedy yet again. And I'm glad to hear our commissioners, they always have been, but they're redoubling their efforts on mental health issues and trying to find a way to stop the stem of the violence. So, well, let's have a moment of silence, please. Thank you very much. I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Chair, wait a minute. Commissioner Lucido was on.
I withdrew. I was going to ask him to do a moment of silence, so he already did it.
Oh, great.
Motion to adjourn.
Support Zinner.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Please vote. Old school. I'm still old school. I'm still old school.
Nope.
Sorry.
Back in the days of yesteryear. And Mr. Chang, Sam, you could have got
Thank you
up
very
and
much.
spoke.
Very good.